Hello, hello, Ederson Oliveira here. This is another DNN Monthly Chat, and we have a full house today here. And the north of the border is winning big time here. We have 3 against 2 today. We have 3 Canadians in the house against 2 Americans. Wow, that's a first, How are you guys? How are you, Mike?
Okay,
very
we're
well.
gonna
Very
have
well.
to
How
slap
you
it.
doing?
What is that, Joe?
I was gonna say we're gonna have to slap a tariff on DNN monthly chats or something.
Yeah. So again, what I'm hoping here. Sorry, Mike, I cut you off there. What I'm hoping here is that Mike, I've been inviting Mike a few times, and finally he was able to make it. So yeah, I'm telling on you, Mike. And then Daniel, I really wanted to talk to him a little bit here today because of what he has been doing in the last few weeks. But we're gonna get to that in a second. And again, as the usual suspects, Scott Wilkinson and Joe Craig in this heat wave. Let's talk about the heat wave a little bit down the road. But again, welcome everybody. Today we are recording this on a Friday. What is it here? June 29th, and it's 10 o'clock in the morning. So we are just about done with the month of June, and let's have a look what happened during this month. I actually want to start, as usual, with a few blog posts that I saw around, and the first one that I want to bring is from about something that happened a month ago. It's DNN Connect. It's really their wrap-up blog post from Peter Donker about the event. I went through the post again. He really summarized very well the event. And I don't know about you guys, but I think that something big that, something major that happened out of the event was the recordings, I mean, I love the recordings, the quality of the recordings, the contents, the richness of that content, the quality as well. I mean, again, great job. And it seems that they were able to make that on a budget. So very, very well done. I'm actually, for the past few days and weeks, I have been going every day and watching one of the videos, and again, it's very, very good quality content for, anyone that wants to get to know more about DNN or even beyond DNN, because there are topics there that are, a bit beyond just the scope of what we do at DNN. Mike, you were there, a month ago. I don't want to do a recap of DNN Connect because we have done that in another video on the TADUG one. But again, what's your take on the event? Wrap things up here for us.
Yeah, it was my first DNN event, let alone DNN Connect. I was quite impressed. It was a good mixture of a structured conference, but in a kind of informal setting. So this is very relaxed. Everyone was great. The sessions were awesome. I would highly recommend going if you can to the next one for sure. I'm definitely planning on it.
Awesome. And again, all the links will be posted in the video notes, in the show notes. So they have 22 videos, 22 presentations that were recorded from the event. So again, rich and very juicy content over there if you want to check how the event went and get more in depth on any one of the topics that have been covered there. Okay, like a bit of a segue already here from DNN Connect. There are already talks about the next DNN Summit, and it seems that people really, really enjoy Denver. I don't know. There's something on Denver that people get attracted to. Is that Colorado? Is that the loose laws of Colorado? I mean, what is it, Scott? What do you think, Scott?
Oh, well, you're asking me?
I'm not.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I decided to ask you, Scott.
I don't know why everyone likes Denver. I like Denver, but I don't like February.
Okay.
So, because if you recall, this past event, I had 35 students register for my class. They paid a lot of money, And I remember frantically texting Joe on the airplane when they were trying to de-ice it that I may not make it to Denver to teach this class that a lot of people paid money for. So the problem was not Denver. The problem was being in doing a conference in February.
Yeah, I had big hopes because I've heard of something about, San Francisco and California, and people were, there was a committee already getting formed to do that there, but that's okay. But still,
Yeah.
I mean, I like Colorado. I don't mind going there another time.
I can provide a little background.
Okay.
It's complicated to put on an event, and you have to have a committee step forward to do it, and it helps to have local people. And for something like DNN Summit, we have to announce the date and location around the 1st of July. And so things did not fall into place. We know the Denver venue, it's a very nice one. I think the mission of the organizing committee for the next year will be to try and get something for 2020? That's scary. Prepared ahead of time. So yeah, and to be honest, I think people other than Scott, Scott, you're just going to have to make the travel plans a couple of days early.
I think so, since I'm in Chicago. Yeah.
Yeah, and Addison, you said you didn't know what the attraction for Denver was, but the agenda that you sent out says something about January 2014 on it, right next to DNN Summit. So I'm not going to ask questions about what you do.
I think it might have been a coincidence that 1 or 2 years after something was legalized in Colorado, that the event started to be more there. But again, let's keep it at that.
We can always go to Portland. Or Canada. Hey, what do you guys?
In February,
you guys are going to be your entire country is going to be the new Denver in a year.
Very true. Very true. Okay, so great. So that's about the events, and again, just a wrap up of DNN Connect 2018. Videos are there, and great job of an event that was put by the DNN Connect committee. Moving on, we have, I want to mention a few blog posts that I saw that caught my attention. One of them was the one from Will Stroh, 5 tips for successfully upgrading DNN websites. It's funny because this past month, this month, I was planning to do a lot of content around upgrades, and unfortunately that didn't come to fruition because of one thing or another. We got busy with some clients, but yeah, upgrading DNN websites with Will Stroh, 5 tips here. One of the things about upgrades, on the upgrade topic, and I didn't publish that yet, but this coming Wednesday, which is 4th of July for our US buddies there, it will be our monthly TADUG Meetup, and I'm planning, and again, we are 4-5 days away from that, so I should have that already sorted out. But I'll be presenting on DNN upgrades. So again, I'll be collecting things from Will here and from our own experience of upgrading, many sites. I know, Daniel, that you have a lot of experience with upgrades as well. I want to mention a little bit about what you have mentioned about older modules, but we're gonna get that in a second here. So yeah, so the first one, 5 tips for successfully upgrading DNN websites by Will Stroh, a good write-up and a good guide to be used for DNN upgrades. The next one here. Next one is, I'm sure that all of you guys have been asked at some point in time, oh, should I by a client or by someone that you know. Why DNN? Why not WordPress? You must have heard that many times before. And to be quite honest, I was never well articulated to answer that question. But I think that if you want ammunition to be able to answer that question properly, now there's a great blog post by our friend David Poindexter about his experience here on WordPress, and the title is "What Happens When a Blog Engine Tries to Put on Big Boy Pants." Really provocative, really poking the beast there. And again, I love the title there, David, and very well put together this article. And hopefully it will help anyone answer that question a little bit better, why one against the other one. And it talks about the vulnerabilities that, to be quite honest, are well known within the WordPress space. And David articulates that very well. And again, it's a very, very good read. And the devil is in the details. Good one. What else? What else we have here? That's David one. Okay, so let's get to our guests. Let's get to Daniel a little bit. Daniel, welcome here. There are 2 blog posts that were put together by Daniel. I'm gonna go to the first one here, which is removing roadblocks to upgrading by reviving old core modules. Daniel, let me ask you that. I don't want to rehearse, to tell, the same, entire presentation that you have done for DNN SoFried, because if anyone wants to dive deeper into what Daniel has put together, by all means go there. The link will be here, so you have, I think it's about an hour or an hour and something of presentation from Daniel, very well put together. But Daniel, let me just ask you this: what are you trying to put together here in your undertake?
Basically, my train of thought regarding that is that there's more and more people that want to upgrade, and they're more aware of security issues, data breaches, because of recent events in the news and Facebook in Congress and GDPR and all that. So they're more willing to upgrade. They can they have a better time getting a budget for upgrades, and we see it happen more and more. So people are upgrading more, and mostly with DNN 9.2, it broke a lot of modules because of the APIs that were removed. And when dealing with customers, if you can't upgrade because of some old third-party module, I mean, they understand the developer is no longer around and all that, but I feel the modules that came with DNN originally should be maintained. They're DNN owned products. So, and some of them, the most popular, got a little bit of attention, but a lot of them got abandoned totally since like 2015 and Codeplex. So yeah, I'm trying to revive the ones I can. I'm trying to bring them all under one umbrella. And the ultimate goal would be to update the DNN suggested upgrade path, which assumes you never used any of those modules, but it's rarely the case. If you had DNN 4 or 5, or I think up to 5, most people used what was there. So they have, and also I do a lot of upgrades from very old versions to the latest. It's rarely a case of I have 9.1 and I want to go to 9.2. It's more like I have 9.4 and I want to go to the latest. So it's a roadblock for those people. And by bringing them to do an upgrade, we're pushing them in the mindset that I need to change my content. I need to bring my content into another module. That's going to take a lot of time. So if I have no choice and I have to spend a lot of time, let's check what's around. So I want to avoid that situation.
Got it. So I'm gonna try to put myself in your shoes here. If I'm gonna upgrade a client's website that has a very old module and a community-based module, my first, to be honest with you, my first let's reaction would be, you know what, this module is out there, it's a community-based module, hasn't been updated for years and years and years. You know what, Mr. Client, unfortunately we're gonna have to move on to something else here. And I would have taken that path, and I would have let those older modules stay older. But you not only decided that, hey, you know what, let me give it a good shot on those old modules, and let me see if I can make them compatible with DNN. But you're trying to create this big umbrella here. Why taking this upon you? I mean, what drove you to this initiative?
Well, my first goal is to make the upgrades easy. So you can just install your packages, follow the upgrade path. When you get to DNN 7, if you have an old skin, make sure that it doesn't use, this menu provider, or when you're going to do the upgrade, the skin's going to break. If you were using the documents module, well, when you get to DNN this version, you need to upgrade your documents module to that version in order to continue. And for each of those modules, I have a very good documentation of compatibility of all of them for DNN 9.1 and 9.2. I tested every single one. But as I go one by one, I am setting up a virtual machine with DNN 4 and doing the actual upgrade all the way to DNN 9.2 and adding that in the GitHub README, which module version works with which DNN version. So ultimately, it would be to aggregate all of this information and to update the DNN upgrade path, assuming you're using the modules that were provided.
Got it. Okay. So
yeah, can I add something to that?
Yes.
By all means.
And are you hearing an echo for me?
Not anymore.
Okay. One of the things that we're trying to do in terms of revitalizing the DNN community is lowering the threshold of pain for newcomers to DNN. So you download DNN, you install it, and you got the HTML module. What do you do now? A benefit of this effort that Daniel is doing is to provide, a reasonably complete set of free open source modules, that range from good to really high quality, so that a newcomer can, and I'm hoping that there will be an easy download to download everything, with one click. So you download and install DNN, you download the community modules, and with a few clicks, install those, and then you're really ready to go. And I think that provides real value to the ecosystem, and particularly people who, okay, I've installed DNN, what do I do now? Well, you install the modules and get to work. So then I just want to say hats off to Daniel for revitalizing at least one big corner of the community.
No, I mean,
and hopefully the team he hopes to put together will take on some of these modules and bring them into the latter half of the second decade of the 21st century. There's a potential for now moving forward in the technology that's running some of these modules.
Awesome.
Exactly. If I can add to that, the main goal right now is to unblock upgrades to not push those people to another thing. But when that's done and it's 3/4 of the way done, a next step would be probably to advertise those modules to let people know that they're available for the installation. Would it be in directly with the DNN install or separate thing? It's to be discussed. But that's a request I get often from enterprise customers, that you can put whatever you want on my website, but I want the source code. And that could be a good example of modules that they could have the source code, they have the community behind them, and they're not the best modules. Some of them are very old and there's better around, but if they're closed source, they don't want it. So that's a second plan to, not let people know that they're available. And in the long term, if DNN is moving a little bit with the technology stack, those could be good examples for developer training, for examples of good development templates and practices and everything. So I see a lot of uses for those modules still. Some of them, I don't think they're going to see, a great improvement. I just did the links module. That one is not even responsive. It's just a table of links. But my first goal was to make it, upgradable. And that would be an easy one as a demo for a new technology stack and a new UI and everything, because it's such a simple module.
Daniel, tell me a little bit about the response that you have been gathering, because you have a call to action out there, and I'd like to ask you 2 points here. The response from a community perspective, how people reaching out to you and gathering around that and rallying around the idea, and what about the DNN Corp? How are they react to that?
I've seen the community getting more active. The ones that were taking care of those modules previously, they kind of got motivated with all this, and we're all working together very well. I get answers when I ask questions. It's awesome. It's really a new age for the community. As from Corp, I think it's a little bit too early to say. I didn't have much discussions directly with regarding that. I have a meeting scheduled, I think July 6th.
July 5th? July 5th?
I can confirm.
Yeah, I have it in front of me. July 5th.
You have it? Okay, awesome.
Yeah, I have
so anyone that wants to discuss that is welcome. And one of the things I have on the agenda, for instance, now that relates to court, is legal issues. So how do we name them? Because those modules were part of the core. They were made by DNN originally. Then they became community modules. Then they were separated from the core, and they kind of got renamed community modules. And then they went in the DNN Forge, and there was a naming for Forge modules. And other modules joined the Forge, and then everything moved to GitHub. And currently the DNN community organization on GitHub has most of them, plus others that are recent that were added there. So it's very hard to know which ones, to isolate them. So that's something I would like to discuss with Corp, if we can maybe have a core modules organization and put them all there to kind of put them aside from the rest of the free modules. It's discussions to have regarding that. There's when they became community modules, there was one developer assigned to maintain each, and some of those developers had a company, and they changed the copyright to their company name. So it's kind of a strange situation. So I don't know what needs to be done with that. And there's been a lot of work done having issue templates and pull request templates on pretty much all of them. I'd like to check also on the license. They kind of all have a little bit different text. So I would like to have a master text that you can apply to all. And that's all things I would like to check with Corp. So let's see how responsive they are to those questions.
Got it. And I guess that before there's a bit of echoing, I think. Let me guess. I'm gonna assume that it's Mr. Craig. Let me mute you, Joe, just for a second. Uh, so I assume that before, correct me if I'm wrong, Daniel, but there was never a unified approach to those core modules. I mean, each individual developer that took upon themselves to work on that they did pretty much whatever they feel like doing there, and there was never an umbrella type of approach that you are trying to put together. Correct? Is that
Absolutely, absolutely. Originally, those were very old. Some of them they came with DNN one from the get-go, and they were all Visual Basic in the app code folder, not even compiled or anything. And when they got given to the community, that's how they were. So some of them are still like that. For instance, the links module, which is a very basic, very simple module, took me about 3 days, not full days, but I was working on that one like 3 days. And it's such a simple module. It's just that it needs to move from the app code folder to a web application project, needs to be converted to C#. Then it was built for .NET 1.1, so there's a lot of things that no longer work in .NET 4.5, so a lot of casting and stuff like this that was automatic that now is strongly typed, and a lot of small things like this. And the build process, there was pretty much no build process back then. They were just given with DNN, so there was nothing to build and to install. So you have to go through all these loops, to make a releasable package. So that took like a lot of time for such a simple module.
Awesome. So and Daniel, I cannot thank you enough. I was watching the SoFried DNN user group meeting, and when I was watching your presentation, I mean, let me tell you, for the ones that have not watched Daniel's presentation, very straight to the point, very data driven, very no BS, no fluffy, all data. It's funny, let me mention that, Daniel, that a lot of information, you put a lot of information, but all the time, but I never lost engagement. Your presentation was very engaging, very data driven, very data rich, and again, you touched on very, very good points, and you deserve the standing ovation that you had there with the SoFried group. Again, I was really impressed, and thank you for taking this initiative upon yourself. I mean, I know how it is to run a business and try to do something on the side that you love, and I believe that this is a lot on you, and but let's see. Hopefully that will be successful. Hopefully you're gonna get traction. Hopefully DNN Corp will get behind this more actively as well. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks for being here as well.
You're welcome. You know what's the trick for a good presentation, right?
What is it?
If you get a 30 minutes time slot, you make a 1 hour presentation and then you start cutting into it. That's how you keep interesting.
And you know what? I saw your trick there. There was a timer there at times. I saw a little timer there,
Yes, it was for that.
It helps to keep you on track, Again,
Yeah.
great. Awesome, man. And I said that I'm gonna make another segment here on our monthly talk called the movers and shakers of the month. And I can tell you, Daniel, you have been the mover and shaker of this past month, for sure. Thank you for that. And if you want to, of course, watch the entire presentation of Daniel, again, very good presentation, just go to the SoFried DNN user group. The links will be all here. Perfect. Moving on here, just want to give a shout out to Dennis Chow. He has departed from DNN Corp, but he's still around. Very, very good contributor for 5 years to DNN. And I wanted just to highlight his, a bit of his contribution from a marketing standpoint. Very good guy, and I had great interactions with him in the past. So I just wanted to thank Dennis for his contribution. So again, Dennis, I hope that we keep seeing you around in the DNN space, and I see you still posting about DNN, so it's good to see you still around. And I hope that you are successful with your marketing consultancy endeavor. Okay, that's really it. What else we have here? Guys, you're letting me talk too much, so I'll just keep talking here, you know. Let's talk about videos and webinars and recordings. There's a very prolific group out there, the Technology Advisory Group. Every week they meet, and now with the leadership of Mitchel Sellers. Mitchel, I have a video here somewhere of an interview that he has done with Clint Patterson, talking about this new, this new time in the DNN space, in the ecosystem, now the community driving things. I'm gonna mention that a little bit. Actually, he was also part of the SoFried DNN user group meeting. That was the second half of the meeting there, so you can check that out. You can check that one. You can check the one that Clint Patterson interviewed him, and I assume that. Go ahead, Joe.
I want to give Mitchell credit for doing something that I think has never been done.
What is that?
Before. He flew to Charlotte to be at the SoFried DNN meeting. Now, the backstory is Mitchell's a fairly avid pilot and has an airplane, so he loves excuses to go for cross-country flights. But I don't think I've ever seen anybody fly in to do a presentation and fly home on their own plane the next day.
And no, and the thing is that he was presenting from the plane. I'm joking. You should not present while you pilot a plane, okay? But I thought it would be appropriate.
That's likely to be his next innovation.
Very good, very good. So the other point that I was about to make is that just yesterday there was the DNN Virtual User Conference that is put together by DNN Corp, and Andy Treba drives that presentation. And there was a segment there with Mitchel as well, talking about the advisory group and how things are moving forward. Very interesting to see that really now the community will be, the intention is that the community drives releases, and yes, going with that mindset of a slim DNN Corp in a bigger community. So it'll be interesting to see how that evolves. And I'm just jumping around with my agenda here all over the place. So this one here is the one from the presentation from Daniel on the SoFried. So let's see here. What is it? Yeah, so we're gonna get to that in a second. So in terms of more videos, about a month ago we have a TADUG meeting where Will Stroll presented 5 things you absolutely need to remember with e-commerce websites, and very good presentation. The recording is there if you want to have a look at that presentation, which he put together with a blog post that he listed all the links that he mentioned. Very good presentation by our friend Will Stroll for our local TADUG user group. Yep. What else we have here? So that's Mitchel's. Go ahead.
You had a little bit further up on your list a video from Tycho DeWard on creating a bootstrap card.
I'll be mentioning that.
Yeah,
Joe.
Yeah, I'll wait till you get there.
Okay, so as I mentioned, again, jumping all over the place here a little bit, but an interview with Mitchel Sellers by Clint Patterson about the technology advisory group and how the community will be driving that more and more. And there is also, I think this is the last video here, a video put together by a tutorial put together by Tycho DeWard on how you can create bootstrap cards with too sexy content. Again, very good tutorial there, Tycho. Thank you for doing that. And as you mentioned there.
Yeah.
I mean, I should do a shout out, so I'm doing that. Joe?
Yeah. One of the DNN Connect videos is a presentation from Daniel Mettler, who talks about Too Sexy at a somewhat higher and lower level. But if you take that and this presentation, and if you want to go back to what I was trying to do a couple of months ago with my presentation to TADUG, that's a set of resources that someone who's heard about, is new to, or would like to know more about Too Sexy content, to really dig through. I would suggest you watch Daniel Mettler's presentation first. I thought it was excellent, and I think he knows a little bit about the module. And then the Tycho the Ward presentation says, okay, let's step back and just do a simple one, and
Yes, that's
put them all together. Put them together, and you've got a very nice little training afternoon.
yeah. You know what? I mean, I love the stuff that Daniel puts out. Most of the time, I find beyond my pay grade at times, and I really like to get down to the basics, and because when you get down to the basics, you invite new people to try that approach, to try that module. So maybe because I'm just dumb and I cannot go too high level, but I like dumbed down things that are able to make someone that never heard about Too Sex content, which, by the way, if you are in the DNN space, you never heard about Too Sex content. I mean, Daniel, I don't know what you're doing, and I know what you're doing. So, so again, I like to get down to the basics and give a good intro, and a good intro invites people to, oh, this is not overwhelming. Great, let me get started. Now, if I want to dig deeper, yes, there are deeper resources out there, deeper training, deeper documentation that I can go deeper and deeper. But at least I'm introduced to the subject, in a more, beginner's mindset way. That's my, and again, it's good to have, again, great point, Joe, because you alerted me to the fact that I think that this video from Tycho gives that beginners, okay, this is how you can put this together, and you don't need to know all KOI and all of those frameworks that goes around, and no, give me the basics here. I'm just an admin user. I just want to put a page that lists a bunch of people. That's it, Anyway, that's my.
Well, I thought one of the nice things about Daniel's presentation at DNN Connect was that he didn't do all of that stuff. It was not a kindergarten presentation, but it was not a graduate school course either.
Okay.
So I thought it was excellent.
Awesome. Okay, great. So moving on again, guys, if you want to jump at any point, I just want to mention a little bit, because I went through the virtual user conference that was put together just yesterday, and I wrote a few notes here. If you guys have watched it and want to chime in, by all means, do that. Wanted to mention one of the things that caught my attention between what Clint has said the other day and what Andy mentioned yesterday, is that the partner program is really getting a lot of traction. It seems that we got to about 50 applications, so 50 people, 50 companies have applied. I'm not sure if all of them are visible yet. Maybe they are not, but up close to 50 have applied and are actively involved on getting them approved for the partner program. Actually, I have to get my stuff together and put our name in the hat as well. So according to Andy, the numbers have just doubled in terms of partner program participation. What else from the presentation? Did anyone watch the presentation, and what was the highlight for you? I mean, Come on, anyone, if you want to jump. Okay, Cricket. So I was the only one that watched the bloody.
So I was there too, but
You were there too? Anything?
no
Anything from your side,
special
Daniel?
highlight came to mind.
I want.
Yeah, I got
Go ahead, Joe.
I got one of those client phone calls at 3:00 yesterday afternoon, and I'm waiting to watch the replay.
Okay, no worries. So I'm just gonna quickly mention here a few points that were mentioned by Ash Prasad. He is the VP of product. I think that's the title. So 921 supposed to be released in the middle of July, and it's focusing on stabilization of the release. And that's the first attempt of a community-driven release. That's the first one. So again, mid-July. And 922, it's supposed to be by the end of August, which should have a fully realized community-driven process, a release process. And yeah, that was 2 points that I gathered from his side. Mitchel, he spoke a lot about the community driving the releases and in the future as well. So that was Mitchell Sellers' part there. And then I just want to quickly mention that Andy discussed about something called DNN Prime. I'm gonna summarize here what DNN Prime seems to be. That's what I understood, is that ESW, which is the company that acquired DNN Corp, they acquire a lot of software companies out there. And what DNN Prime is a way for DNN Evoq clients to, with whatever plan they have, they can add applications from other companies that have been acquired by ESW. And at this point, they have 5 companies in that pool of Prime, what they're calling Prime, which you can have DNN plus one of 4 other applications. I'll put it that way. So that was something interesting for the ones that resell Evoq, for the current Evoq clients as well, because now you can add some of those. And there are 4. One called My Alerts, which is about customer engagement. Another one called Business Apps, which is about mobile products and mobile version of products. That's what I've gathered so far. Kayako, which is a help desk application, and something called Engine Yard, which is a DevOps type of company focused on AWS and Ruby. So I'm not sure if all of them intersects with the user base of DNN, but hopefully that initiative will be interesting for DNN Corp as well. As they need to make their money too. They need to be profitable as well. That was about it. And then there was a long Q&A, and it was done. So that was the virtual user conference, which should be live and for anyone to watch, I guess, in the next few days. It was live yesterday. Awesome. Okay, so we have discussed about the DNN Summit already a little bit. Just want to quickly mention again, TADUG next week on the 4th of July. Sorry for my US counterparts there. I think that you will not be joining us on your holiday. Our holiday will be Monday. Your 4th of July is our 1st of July.
Canada Day, is that it?
Canada Day, yes. That's the long and hot and humid weekend that we're gonna have. I don't know about you guys, on Montreal and on the Far East, but here there's a Far West. Sorry, Mike.
I'm on the East.
Far East. I'm trying to picture your map. East, West, yeah. So I don't know about you guys. Montreal, how is Montreal, Daniel?
They announced very hot weekend.
Mike.
They said it's supposed to be a hot weekend, but today is pouring rain and strong wind.
Wow.
So I'm a little skeptical, but I hope it comes.
Scott?
They announced for the weekend here 40 Canadian degrees.
40. Yeah, that's above 105. I did a conversion. Above 105 for Fahrenheit, guys. No.
Yeah.
I'll be spending the weekend at the beach, I think.
Well, Scott, how is the weather like over there?
Looks like we have a high of 94 degrees, but again, I never complain about heat, up north here because
we should not.
It's only a few days.
It'll be a week long. It seems so. Joe, what's up?
Yeah, I just pulled up the Weather Channel page, and the stylized map is just a map, but it's red everywhere, and the high pressure symbol is labeled the Ring of Fire.
You know what?
I think I saw yesterday we had like 10 days of wish we were in Antarctica or something.
You know what? Anytime that's, and I'm gonna say that in Celsius, guys. Sorry about that. Sorry about my US buddies there. But anytime that you give me the option of -40 or +40, I'm gonna go +40 any time of the year. So no complaints. Okay. I was gonna put together this month, and I just want to say sorry for the people that I invited, but I had to uninvite. I was gonna put together a DNN roundtable, a DNN upgrade roundtable, but some people canceled last minute, and so I said, you know what? I'm gonna stop that, push that a little bit forward, and we hopefully can do that in the near future. But yeah, I wanted to put together a DNN upgrade roundtable where we discuss DNN upgrades, best practices, what you do, what you don't do. Different people have different approaches, and I would love to get the input of experienced people in the community about upgrades. Now, let's go to our new segment. And I didn't bring any sound effect here. I was gonna say, hey, I have to put some sound effects here. But let's play a little bit here with Guess the Fake. And guess what the fake is, the topic of the fake is for this round. Okay, so I've selected integrations. And I brought what could be 5 modules that would integrate with third-party services out there. I'm going to describe them. And from 1 to 4, I want each one of you guys to tell me which one do you think that is a fake one. Which one is the fake module integration? It does not exist in the store. Now, you have to raise your hands because I don't want to see you type in on the browser there. So let's start with the first one here. Shopify integration. Great, Daniel. Shopify integration. A module that allows single sign-on of users in a Shopify store after you log in to DNN or after you register in DNN. That's the first one, Shopify integration. Zoho Helpdesk integration, a module that integrates with Zoho Helpdesk and allows you to create tickets based on information that are submitted via forms on a DNN website. So it allows you to create tickets there. That's the second one. Infusionsoft integration. Infusionsoft is a marketing automation tool. So this module allows the integration and the creation of new users on Infusionsoft automatically after it gets created inside DNN. That's the third one. And the fourth one is Google Analytics integration. Now, this is not about just sending, Google data, just sending data from your visitor to Google. No, this is about bringing data from Google Analytics account into DNN, bringing and displaying data there. And all of those modules, they're not older modules, okay? So they are 1 year old or less. So 4 options here: Shopify integration, Zoho Helpdesk integration, Infusionsoft integration, or Google Analytics integration. I'm gonna give 5-10 seconds here. Tell me which one is a fake one. And I didn't have a plate again.
I guess.
Daniel, let's go there, Daniel.
My guess is the Zoho one.
Zoho, okay, one Zoho.
My guess, because I was looking for one and I didn't find anything. So unless my search was bad, I think that's a fake.
Scott?
Thought I've heard of that Zoho one.
So, what's your take? Which
I may
one?
go out of the box and say the Google Analytics, because Evoq does have that into it, where you can pull in analytic charts from Google Analytics. That's what you're talking about, the other way.
Yes.
So you could show them in the persona bar widget. Evoq has that, but I'm going to guess it's a wild card that there's no third-party module that does that. So I'm going to go outside the box.
Okay, and Mr. Craig?
I think I saw something about the one that Scott just declared fake. So I think that one is not fake. Of the other three, I have no idea. I've never looked for anything like that. So
Pick one.
I'm drawing a blank. Shopsite.
Man,
Only
incredible.
because it was the first on your list.
Incredible.
We were all wrong.
All wrong.
No way. So it was what was the other one you said?
It was the Infusionsoft integration. I was amazed that there was no module integrating with Infusionsoft, you know. Infusionsoft is a very popular, marketing automation tool. And I said, nobody is sending data to Infusionsoft. And yeah, that's the one. So I got all of you. Yes, that's one for the, what is that? One for the dealer, one for the dealer. Good. Awesome.
Okay, do I get negative credit for identifying a true one as true?
Maybe. And by the way, I mean, the ones that are real, I'm going to post the links to them. By the way, Daniel, the one from Zoho is from Mandip. So Mandip has a few integration with nice integrations. And Scott, the one from Google Analytics is from, I've never heard of that company, but again, the links I'll post all of them. And Google Analytics one.
I was trying to go with an obvious one. I thought you were gonna try to get us, with an obvious one.
Shopify. I was kind of impressed that there was a Shopify one, a Shopify a single sign-on, and that's for Mandip as well. Mandip as well.
Mandip. Yeah.
Awesome. Again, if there's any subject area that would be a good fake or real, I mean, by all means, drop me a note. I'd love to put that here. Guys, we are coming towards the end here. I don't want to drag you too long. Just want to quickly mention about 2 tips that I put together last month. Actually, I know that I'm not missed, but I just want to say that I have not been putting too many tips out there. Now, the tip of the week became the tip of the bi-weekly tip or almost the monthly tip, because this past month we got a new engagement with a client, and it's a very different one that I'm not used to take part of, and it's taken a lot of our time, and we have been driven away because of that. But 2 tips out there. One that took me personally a lot of time to put together. It's not just one single tip. It's a video series. It's how to convert from Evoq to DNN platform. It's a series of 15 bloody videos that I put together because we spent so much time trying to do that I said, you know what? People should know about this process. I mean, we cannot hide this. So we put it all out there. I've tried to structure it in a way that is very logical. It's broken down into 2 phases, a phase that is mandatory that you have to do, and a phase that it's a cleanup phase that it's optional but highly recommended, because then you can have a very fresh and clean DNN, a migrated DNN, a converted DNN. So again, I put a lot of effort on that. Hopefully that will be useful for people out there. And the second tip was about upgrades. A little tip about one of the many steps that we take when we're doing upgrades. We get rid of things under the install folder. Sometimes the install folder of DNN has some lingering extensions there, and they get installed when you run an upgrade. So this tip is about cleaning those folders to make sure that nothing that you are not expecting gets installed during an upgrade. That's about it. I want to wrap up with what's new, what's exciting. I think that Daniel is very, very, very obvious what is exciting for you, but I'll let you tell that what's new, what's exciting for you, Daniel.
Well, I see a lot of community is more active than it was in the past years. It's really a new age for the community.
Awesome, awesome. Joe, what's new, what's exciting for you?
Can we let Scott go first? I think he has to scoot.
Yes,
quickly.
yes, Scott, please. What's
Oh,
exciting?
thank you. Yeah, I'm actually on my other meeting, but no one's talked yet. So
Multitasking.
I do have nothing major new, but I do have a new caching technique and some other things that I want to share on some videos, and I am working on them now. So I'm hoping to launch some new videos in DNN Hero coming soon.
I'm on the same boat, guys. I'm hoping to do that at some point. Yeah, I'm hoping to. Scott, if you have to drop, go ahead. Yeah. I have to shuffle my screen here. Joe, what's up? What's new? What's exciting?
I second Daniel's comment. I think it's community, 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 and community. The month of June started with DNN Connect. There was apparently a very productive meeting between community people and DNN Corp, and they thrashed out a lot of issues and understandings that have led to, I think one of the blog posts for Mitchel Sellers basically reviews all that, but the community is now effectively running the development of .NET New DNN. And as you alluded to, release processes, development processes are being ironed out. And in July, or I guess August, we will see releases that are coming from the community. People in the community have the keys to approve pull requests, and all of that is happening. I was going to welcome Daniel to the DNN community, but after watching the SoFried thing, he's been here longer than I have. So you don't have to be a newcomer to step out from behind the curtain at the appropriate time. And as he pointed out, there are other people who have started being more active in the community.
Awesome.
Things are moving along, and now we will see if it all works.
Awesome. Basically, guys, the inmates are running the asylum here. So again, let's see how this will unfold. I have high hopes here. In terms of myself, a few things are new and exciting. I'm playing a lot now with this. I'm getting used. That's my second attempt of working with this, and this time around, I'm getting better. I'm getting more comfortable. I'm actually scared that at some point I may walk away from Windows. But anyway, having a hard time, but enjoying a lot learning this bloody thing together with.
Well.
Go ahead.
Well, Anderson, since I think you've seen the proposed code of conduct for DNN MVPs, and one of the rules is that I can't say things about your preference for technology products.
Also, maybe you get lucky and there's going to be a Windows core that's going to run on that.
Maybe you know what? The last mile has been really Visual Studio, but I mean with parallels you can, So I don't know, but again, the reason why I needed to do that is because this client uses a tool that only runs on Macs, so I had to use that. The other thing is that I'm getting very familiar and comfortable with Git, which I was never familiar, never comfortable with before. Again, it's really awesome. I mean, I'm not talking about GitHub in particular, but Git in general. You know, it's awesome. And again, it's good to have a better understanding, to be able to discuss with my high level buddies there in the community. So that's my other thing. And the third and last one is this one. This baby here, you know.
Okay, so
go ahead, Joe.
I was hoping when everybody was here we were gonna get to tell you who was gonna win the cup.
Well, I have my prediction, you know, but hey, I'm a bit biased, you know.
Well,
We'll see. I didn't want to comment because I don't watch it and I didn't check where they are. But I was doing. I wanted to do some comments about Portugal because I'm Portuguese. You're Brazilian.
Oh, so you're Portuguese?
Yeah.
Second generation or first generation?
No, I was born there.
Oh, you're born there. Oh, I see.
Yep.
Good. So, see, Joe, we can talk.
Okay.
We can talk without you knowing.
okay,
what
it's still 2-1 in favor of the Canadians, but it's also 2-1 in favor of the people with Portuguese ancestry.
See, I mean, the odds are getting higher and higher here. You know.
Mm.
Love it, love it.
Well,
I didn't know.
you know,
Go ahead, Joe.
I was going to say that I think the one European country that I am not aware of in my family tree is probably Spain. Not Spain, but Portugal. The Hispanic side, I have a stronger feeling they're actually Italian, and not from Spain. But we'll never know that story.
Very good, very good. So Daniel, good luck for Portugal. I mean, I hope that we meet at the very end, you know, of the road there. And guys, go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, we were actually in Europe was it 1996 when Italy, Spain, and France were three of the last four, and we were in Italy, Spain, and France.
Whoa.
Over that 2-week period. It was you had to remember which country you were in and not wear the wrong colors.
Guys, again, enjoy the World Cup there. Enjoy the heat wave. Enjoy July. We talk again at the end of July. Again, Daniel, thank you very much. Thank you for your contributions. Thank you for being here. And Joe, we talk again in a month. Enjoy summer, guys. Cheers. Bye.